Zelensky boasts that Putin's power base is crumbling as Wagner Boss reappears, thanking allies. It's been less than 2 weeks since Russian President Vladimir Putin banned the protest of Wagner Group director Yevgeny Prigozhin, who sent a rare tweet of thanks for supporting the user's audio file. "I want you to understand that our March for Justice is about fighting insurgents and strengthening our society," said a former friend of Putin on Telegram on Monday morning. "In the future, I'm sure you'll see our next champion on the front lines. Thank you." Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky described Putin as weak in a statement to CNN. "We're seeing Putin's reaction. He's weak," Zelensky said in a video interview. In a preview of the meeting announced on Monday, Zelensky said, "All the vertical power he once had has been broken. Putin does not control everything. Wagner entered Russia, and the work done in some areas shows how easy it is. Putin cannot control the situation in the region." Prigozhin's speech was the first since June 26, 2 days after he captured the city of Rostov-on-Don and led a group of troops north into the south of Russia, after which he stopped the mediation of Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. More than 100 miles from Moscow, the capital of Russia. Lukashenko said at that time that the agreement would prevent bloodshed on Russian soil and claimed that the agreement harmed Wagner. "Good and acceptable without a special mention." In an 11-minute video message in late June, the Chief of Staff argued that the operation was related to security concerns in our country, but aimed to distract the Wagner Group from accusations that the work had led to an attack. "And the elected government is not our target," said Prigozhin. The Chief of Staff said he was taking the troops back to Ukraine before joining the Russian army. "We turned our backs to save the blood of Russian soldiers," he said. "We started walking because of injustice. We did not kill a soldier in a day on the way. We are 200 kilometers away from Moscow. We entered and checked the whole city of Rostov. The people are happy to see us," continued Prigozhin. "Our aim is to protect Wagner from destruction and hold accountable those who made many mistakes. We think the demo is sufficient so far." For several hours on Saturday, the Belarusian opposition in exile believed that the 10th day had come when the army loyal to the renegade warlord Yevgeny Prigozhin left for Moscow. This is how the liberation forces united around Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya. In 2020, after Alexander Lukashenko rigged the presidential election and subsequently sparked a massive uprising, Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya fled Belarus, saying it was the day they hoped to regain control of Moscow. After news of Prigozhin's extraordinary protest broke out on Saturday morning, Tsikhanouskaya called a revolution, half in Vilnius and half in Warsaw, to call to start the day preparation corner. "We are preparing to attack the Kremlin by Prigozhin's army and cause chaos in Belarus," Tsikhanouskaya said in a telephone conversation. Tsikhanouskaya said that her cabinet is in contact with the Belarusian Legion, which is part of the Ukrainian army, and is preparing a strategy to turn on partisans in Belarus so that the government takes a series of measures focused on poverty. "We have received many signals from within Belarus that people are ready and waiting to take to the streets," said Pavel Latushka, Belarus' former cultural director and current director of critical strikes. Then on Saturday evening, just in preparation, an impromptu announcement happily popped up from X-Day. Prigozhin sent his troops back after Lukashenko himself, an unexpected mediator, negotiated the agreement. The Belarusian leader announced that he talked to Prigozhin one day and said that he persuaded the army to cancel the Moscow march, in exchange for the safety of Prigozhin and his Wagner bloc fighters for Belarus. The announcement was initially met with widespread skepticism. But the Kremlin approved the terms of the deal. The Russian FSB ruled against Prigozhin, and on Tuesday Vladimir Putin thanked Lukashenko for his help in resolving the issue. All of this costs the Belarusian leader a major political blow. Putin was at his best during his entire reign. He called Lukashenko and Lukashenko helped him, said Pavel Slenkin, a visiting scholar at the European Council on Foreign Relations and a former Belarusian diplomat. On Tuesday, Lukashenko summoned senior security officials in Minsk for a full-day radio conference, where he gave a lengthy explanation of how the talks took place. He even said that at one point he convinced Putin not to kill Prigozhin. "I said to Putin, yes, we can remove it, it's okay, if it doesn't happen with the first, it will happen with the second. I said to him, don't do it, because what these people plan to do from now on will not be discussed." Lukashenko is an outspoken man. He once claimed that his father was killed in battle. At face value, but clearly playing a significant role. Lukashenko has been in power since 1994 and is a longtime friend of Russia, but constantly taking Moscow's money, strengthening the Western alliance against it. Belarus has become a vassal state of Russia. The Kremlin is using Belarusian territory to launch its invasion of Ukraine and as a troop and equipment base. Putin also promised to hand over Russia's nuclear weapons to Belarus this summer, and many fear that this will give Russia an excuse to send troops at any time, ostensibly to protect the weapons. This limited Lukashenko's room for maneuver, and some of his effort to assume the role of mediator seems to be proving itself more than weak. Slenkin said, "He's trying to show his upper class that he's still talented and still has some restraint and that he's not just a Kremlin puppet." The Russian president did not seem to thank Lukashenko for revealing the details of the talks. Lukashenko gave a speech in front of his leaders and told how he single-handedly saved Russia. Lukashenko embarrassed Putin and Putin will not forgive it. It will also be difficult to support Lukashenko's policy, which is only the beginning of a period of crisis in the Kremlin. "Can't live a day without Putin," Tsikhanouskaya said.